Which of these Scrum rituals would you say is most important? Today we learn how Agile teams improve themselves through wise use of retrospectives. I'm Professor Ritual. Welcome to the Retrospective. Teamwork is norm around the world, but yet many teams suffer from trust issues and suboptimal performance. Here's a script of a typical team meeting. First, the team meeting begins, then some jokes are made about how nothing works around here. Then team lead goes into his or her 45-minute prologue. Then the team lead asks, well, project is late, what can you do? Senior developer says, well, we just have too much work. Team lead continues, well, maybe you guys should just work overtime. Senior developer nods. Junior developers nod. Team lead goes to a 30-minute epilogue. And then some jokes are made about how earlier everything was better here, and the team meeting ends. In a typical meeting, only a few people speak. Nothing really gets analyzed, and eventually the team makes a bad decision under pressure. These kind of teams and leaders are not rarity. Basically, lots of people are wasting everybody's time. Retrospectives can help here. How are the juniors gonna grow as professionals if they never see how a proper team works? Retrospectives can help here too. The Scrum Guide defines a retrospective as an opportunity for the Scrum team to inspect itself and create a plan for improvements to be enacted during the next sprint. I particularly like the word opportunity there. My running definition would be retrospectives can help teams to learn, feel and decide together. Retros are special in a sense that they are the only private events in Agile. Only team members can attend. No bosses, no guests. If a team lead would insist joining, just show them the door. Derby and Larson's pioneering work recommends the following retro structure. The power of this structure is that it breaks the instinctive jump to conclusions and gently guides people into working together. Retro length can vary, but generally a good length would be from 1 to 2 hours. Time spent in each stage could be roughly so. Noteworthy here, how much time ought to be used for gathering data, up to 40%. How much time does your team use for gathering data and observations? For most teams before moving to Agile, it is close to 0. Please leave a comment. I'd appreciate feedback on this. I found that to round up the retro experience, a short intro makes sense. Judith Anderson, in her nice retro book, offers same advice. Both of these books are well worth reading, by the way. So, how does a retro work? In the intro section, perhaps today's agenda is shown and the actions from previous retro are followed up on. The stage is set by giving a focus to the retro and perhaps making a quick soundcheck round. Then the team moves into gathering data. Here we look at what happened in the iteration that just ended, in the light of facts, metrics and personal experiences. In the next step, we generate insights or try to find recurring patterns or identify root causes of problems. Then we move to action and really begin to solve 1 or 2 issues. When solved, a good practice would be to storyfy them into the backlog so they'll surely be handled in the future. And finally, in closing, we review what we decided and appreciate our time together. If you keep things simple and stick to this structure, you can't go wrong. But let's not take retros as a panacea for everything. Retros are sometimes challenging to facilitate if there are unresolved conflicts underneath. Esther Derby writes, retrospectives can't fix everything. Some issues require feedback, coaching and training. Many Agile coaches prefer unique retros over repetitive ones. Coming up with new retro ideas and techniques is exciting, so don't be afraid to experiment. There are plenty of resources out there for inspiration. For example, the Retromat generates a random retro section to the default structure. I just found this brutally simple what, so what, now what technique from Oikosophi's website. Nice. A collaboration tool would be needed for virtual teams, for example Parabol here. I can't really endorse it yet, but the first impression is pretty good. A word of caution. The word retro is overloaded. I've seen people refer to two types of retros. Proper retros, these are the long ones, and kind of mini retros, kind of short feedback events. Recognizing retros as the true giants of team building, we ought not to overload this word. Let's call all other kinds of events something else, okay? Retros are an elegant way to foster collaboration because they help solve problems and build teams at the same time. Retrospectives can help teams build a bridge between the subject matter and meta discussion. From this collective eye, team can then collectively learn, feel, and decide.